Hello, Savat here, aka Doompiggy, and I'm back with another Eve Echoes video. So in today's video, I have new ship, and I have been waiting a long time to get into this ship. I actually don't even have the skills to fly this ship properly, but I did pick me up a Phantasm. Alright, if you do like my content, please go ahead and hit that like button, and subscribe if you want to see more of the same from me. I am going to be releasing daily Eve Echoes content. I will miss a day or two here when it comes to holidays and stuff like that. For the most part, I will try to stay up with everything. And I do plan through going through the new year and delivering more and more content on the regular. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this new shiny ship I got. So first thing you can notice, if you've been following me for a while, is my money is dry. I have 115 million left. I had to purchase a bunch of stuff for this ship, and I had to purchase the ship itself. So I was saving up, and I did get it. Let's do a couple of things here real quick before we get totally into the fitting. What I want to show you guys is the skills that are required on this ship. So advanced medium laser operation bonus, you get plus 15% medium laser damage and 7.5 medium laser tracking speed for having this. And advanced cruiser command bonus, you get 25% afterburner velocity and 5% shields. These are both the key parts to actually flying this ship. The roll bonus on the ship is it can fit those shield modules. Well, I want to show you my skills. So as you can see here, I'm actually now training advanced medium laser operation 5, which should be done in roughly 9 days. So I don't actually have the skills that are needed to fly this ship properly. I do have a lot of laser skills, but my laser upgrade and advanced medium laser upgrade was 5 because I was flying the Harbinger, and the Harbinger actually got the bonuses from this one, so I have that one up, but I did not have the advanced medium laser operations 5. So I'm working on that, which is going to put me into expert medium laser operation, which I will get up. And I do need to just basically get all these skills trained. Now also I fly battle cruisers, not cruisers. So my cruiser command was 5, my advanced cruiser command is only sitting at 3, so I do need to get this up to 5 as well. So I'm missing some key points there to make this ship work properly. Last but not least, another key factor to this ship would be your engineering. I think that's a key factor in all ships. So my cruiser engineering is only 4. My advanced cruiser engineering is only 3. These are not good enough levels for what I like. My battle cruiser engineering was in a much better situation. I still did need to level out some of these and get them to the first one to 5 and get expert up to 4 before I would have been completely happy with it. But the battle cruiser engineering does provide me at level 3 with minus 3% medium turret power grid needed and minus 3% medium missile, which is not going to be a factor in this. So I am at least getting 3% out of this skill by having that trained up. So that's going to be pretty good. Once I do get the cruiser ones trained up to the expert, I'm going to get more medium power grid requirements taken off of these ships, which is going to help. So the power grid still does need some work on this. It'll become way more stable once that happens. And I'm also not getting full benefits out of all the skills on here. That is going to come with time. Now, another one of the things that this ship is going to use is Afterburner. My Afterburner skill is 5. My advanced Afterburner is only 3. Getting this also up to 5 would also help out this ship tremendously, as well as shield operation. My shield operation is 5, advanced shield operation is 3. My shield hardening is only 3 though, so I do need to get the shield hardening up, and this would also help my capacitor needs with this ship as well, where with my armor ones, I do have that advanced armor hardening 5, but I'm not anything into the advanced, or I'm sorry, I have the armor hardening 5, but not anything into the advanced. So my defensive abilities are about the same. It's going to be rough though. It's going to be a long road to get that, but the big thing here is my defense upgrade. My cruiser defense upgrade is 5.3. My battle cruiser was only 4.3, so I've actually got a little bit more in cruiser than I did in battle cruiser for the defensive capabilities. So yeah, that's pretty good as far as that goes. So this ship still has a lot of room to grow into, is what I'm saying. A lot of room. Now, training these skills are also going to be helpful for me because one of the ships that I do like so much is that Mauler. And I've been thinking about actually getting into some of the higher tier Maulers, the Mauler Guardian 2, the tier 8 one especially. And I want to do some stuff in that as well. So I actually don't mind taking a pause out of my large laser focusing to go into this and polish off some of these skills, especially since I have such a nice ship to use them in. Now the fit for this ship is, one, not necessarily my own. I've watched a lot of videos on the Phantasm before I actually got into this. So a lot of people have posted different types of fits with this ship, and it pretty much dictates to you what you should use. It tells you to use the shield field modules, since this ship can actually fit it. It gets the bonus to afterburners, so you would want to definitely fit an afterburner on here. And that being said, the rest of it is kind of up to what are you going to do, PvE or PvP. So on the top, if you're going to get a ship that's this expensive, you do want to use the C-types. I already had them. And for my other ships, I just transferred them over. I didn't buy new ones for it. I will eventually buy its own set, so I can have all my other ships, because I do like to have my ships outfitted and do not like borrowing stuff from other ships. I like to have each one have its own gear, but sometimes that can get kind of expensive, so I don't have the ability to do that fully just yet, but I'll get there. Alright, so I have a full 4 of those up in the upper top slots. Since I am using this ship for PvE, I do have a Caldari Navy Stasis Webifier on here. I do not have the higher end one, just because it's 100 million. Same thing with this, I have an Imperial Navy Medium Energy Nosferatu. And again, I didn't opt for the tier 8 one because it, again, the Verkalakis, it is also a $100 million mod. And I will upgrade to those most likely, but just not quite yet. Now in here I actually did some research. If you look, I've actually have smalls. Gotta scroll down here. Smalls, mediums, and large of this. The smalls I get from doing missions all the time. I think I actually had a medium, and I bought a large one because just I wanted to kind of see what the differences are. Because with the armor rep ones that you use, you want to use the large. With this one, actually kind of the opposite from what I found out. So what these actually do, if you didn't already know, is they're all going to do the 56% shield resistance when active. Not any type of, transfer of damage. However, they have an optimal range. This one's 7.5 for the small here. So anything within 7.5 km of it. That also means that if the ships come within 7.5 km of you, you're going to lose the extra resistances that are going to be added on by this, because if they get within your bubble, then it doesn't work. It's only when they hit the bubble from outside of it. It does give you a 500% signature radius adjustment. That I have no way of getting rid of. But the ship is relatively small, and the fuel consumption on it is only 100 gigajoules. That's pretty good. And the medium does the exact same thing as the small, but it uses 400 gigajoules and has a 15 km optimal range. So ships don't have to stay as close to you, but they can also get under that a lot more easy. The enemies can anyway. And your large has a 22.5 km optimal range. So it's going to make you a 22 km bubble around you. Again for the same one, and uses 1200 gigajoules. So you do have the option, and it is good to have multiple varieties of these, because if I do want to take this out in a group with friends, I can increase my bubble strength, but it is going to cost me more fuel to do so. And again, if frigates do get under it, or cruisers or anything within that range, if they get inside the bubble, then the shield does not work. So for the cases of this, I do have the small one equipped because it is going to be flying solo. The 500% signature adjustment basically means that everything is going to be able to hit me when I do have this active. That's That's fine. My hood ornament of choice for this ship is going to be the Mark 7 Infiltrator. You can use whatever hood ornament you want to here. You are going to be close enough, because it is using short-range lasers, that it is actually going to be applying its DPS, so it's not doing nothing, but it doesn't really matter. I think all of it's kind of going to be within a couple of percentage points. The only other thing I would say is maybe putting the Mimitar in there because it is the fastest. In the bottom slots here, I do have my Centum C-Type Medium Afterburner. I have a Pith C-Type Adaptive Invulnerability Field. I have a Gistum C-Type Medium Capacity Battery. I'm using a Pith C-Type Large Shield Booster. And one Centum C-Type Heatsink. Well, the choice on this was, if you have watched my videos, you saw that when I was flying in my Drake, and I wasn't capacitor stable, I had capacitor issues, so I don't want to have those same capacitor issues, so I brought the cap battery. I may take the cap battery out of here for PvE content, depending on if I really need it or not. Whenever I stop running the shield booster, this ship is cap stable, and we can show that. Unfit this real quick. See, capacitor is stable, and it is stable at 61.8%. And remember, I don't even have all of those skills that I want quite yet. Now that is taking into account this energy Nosferatu being active. But still, we should be in range where that can work all the time. That is a medium. That is a large. Alright. The heatsink is obviously for the damage. We're just trying to get a little bit more damage out of that. I have another fit where I'll replace that with another type of shield hardener too, make it more tanky. But I haven't tried this out in combat as of yet, so it does look like it's going to be tanky enough. Now if we move over to the rigs, I used one rig to plug the EM hole that it has. So I used an EM Screen Reinforcer 3 to give it a 40% resistance to EM. And I have a large burst aerator 3 and a second large burst aerator 3. I decided to put the two large burst aerators on there because I want this to fire more often. That's going to cause one of the reasons why it does use more capacitor. The faster it fires, the faster it's going to be using that capacitor. And one of the things this ship doesn't have that a lot of Mars ships have, it doesn't have that 50% reduction to the capacitor need for large laser. Not necessarily large, medium lasers in this case. To counteract that, I actually sprung and got 3 semiconductor memory cells on here. They're all the level 2s. The level 3s would have been a huge investment, and I plan on investing into the level 3s eventually, but I just don't have the money to do that quite right now. I spent pretty much everything I had getting this outfitted. So yeah, I mean, in 9 days we're going to have the last thing that we need for the damage. I'm going to get additional 15% medium laser damage out of that, plus what I get out of training the skill, and then the couple of levels of expert that I'll be able to get within a day or so. And the tracking speed will be better as well. So the damage will increase on this ship. I'm hoping to get it with those couple of skills that'll get trained to a little over 600 DPS. And then we're going to go into the counterpart of this and get the cruiser command, which is going to make this ship go faster and actually give it more shield. Because right now it only has 9,000 shield. So I'm going to get 5% more on top of that. Well, 5, 10, 15% more on top of that once we get those 3 levels trained up in the advanced cruiser. So that's going to be good as well, and push that up to a very nice level. Alright. So next thing, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up an encounter, and we're going to take this out for my first ever combat with it. Now in my cargo hold I do have fuel. I actually have quite a bit of fuel. I don't probably need to carry this much of it. The fuel I have in there, it wasn't chosen for any reason whatsoever. It just happened to be stuff that I had lying around, so we used that. One of the things I want to show... Oh. Well, with just the shield hardener on, our defenses are 62, 49, 62, 71. Once we do get to the next area and I can come to a stop, I will show you the... what is this thing called again? Small shield field module. So we'll activate that as well, and we'll show you where it sits at with those. The laser should have about a 14 km range. So we're going to set our orbit to 14. So a couple of things that I've thought of actually doing with this ship, and depending on how the capacitor needs are going to be affected and what's going to happen when I get those skills for the cap up, is possibly putting the level 3 warp stability on here. And that would mainly be for missions. If I have the level 3 warp stability on there, I think that the ones that scram you just use the 3s. I'll have to get some clarification on that, but that should stop a scram from being able to stop me 1 or up to 3 hard points if they're just doing 1. Alright, let's activate this. Oh. Well, let's move so the cloak can stop. Alright, so if we activate both of those, we're at 83, 78, 83, 87. Those are ridiculous for how little of a shield that we actually have going on this ship. Very impressive. Okay. Another thing we'll look at here is if we activate this with my current skills and where they're at, that's putting me at 710 DPS, why that's hot. So, yeah. Lastly, with my current level and afterburner skills and the cruiser command on this ship gets up to over 1,200. That's crazy for just the levels that I have this at. That means this thing is going to be flying. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be doing 1,600. Okay, so let's go ahead and warp into the mission and see what this guy can do.
Warp drive active.
So I'm excited to grow kind of into the skills with this ship. It shouldn't take nearly as long as getting the large lasers trained up. I'm thinking within less than a month I'll be able to have all these skills pretty much knocked out. Okay. One of the first things I want to do is get in here and start shooting at the Corex. All right. So we don't have any type of target paint or anything like that on this ship. We're just straight coming in here with damage and speed. So far it hasn't really taken any damage. We have a little bit that's been applied, but that's still pretty impressive. Now it's firing extremely fast. And then when we activate the heat sink, it should go a little bit faster as well. So that's the whole thing with this ship. The reason why I wanted the 2 speed ups instead of the damage up was to get this thing firing like a little chain gun. It's constantly applying that DPS. And it's doing so quite well. I think one of the things I still am going to have to be very careful about in this ship is that spawning at 0. Whenever I'm doing story missions, I do have a tendency to lose ships because if things do spawn at 0, I could be in a whole lot of trouble if I'm sitting at 0. Yeah, we're very close to 0 right now. So this thing is orbiting at 15 right now, which is just slightly outside of its optimal range. So that's one of the things I do have to kind of pay attention to as well. Kind of figure this part out. We do orbit at 13, maybe that'll move us in close enough to where we'll orbit at 14 km. Okay. Lock up these guys real quick. Let's move in. We are warp scrammed right now. Where's this guy going? I have a feeling that this was still set from my Oracle, so my approach is actually sending me back out to 70 km. No reason to be firing our lasers from this far back. We're not going to hit anything. Can I go ahead and lock up all of you guys? Let's set an orbit on him. Let's start blasting. Alright, so we do have some missiles coming in at us. This ship is very tough. Having the ability to be tough and speed tank at the same time while laying out damage is just insane to me. It's got all the defenses and a decent offense except for the range kiting. So far I haven't even really had to activate the whatever that shield thingy's called. I'm just brand new to using it, so I don't quite remember all the time. The small shield field module. But I will go ahead and activate it here. Activating this now is going to give me better resistances. Those missiles are pretty much laying into me. So since they are going to be hitting me just about every time, we'll go ahead and use that. And we're going to activate that and that. Hello. Okay. So the battery used with the large shield booster should help me basically keep my entire cap while it's up. You can actually activate that too. And there. We're filled up. I believe the Drake is the one who's using the missiles on us. And he was within our 7 km at the time. Okay, so let's activate this again. Now we're outside of the 7 km range, so it should do its job. Okay, so it does look like the Drake is hitting us for about 141 apiece. 143, so yeah, right around there. So it is soaking a lot of the damage from the Alpha. He's probably using torpedoes. So it still does take a little bit of time to get this Drake down. Okay, we're now going to approach, try to get out of here, and we're going to lock up small ships. We're going to use our damage. Activate our shield boosters. Keep them going in a straight line. Okay. We are safe. Turn back around. So about 20 km is going to be our 50% damage area. So we definitely want to be closer than that if we can. So we do have more missiles here. The missiles are going to be tagging us. That is fine though. That's kind of one of the things that we did want to test on here, was how this can tank. So against these mid-sized ships, it's doing fairly well. With the capacitor battery, everything seems to be functioning good. I think if I didn't have the capacitor battery, my capacitor would be in a much worse situation than we are right now. Yeah, it does like to stick in this orbit, so I am going to change the orbit from 14 down to 13 and see what that does, if that's going to do anything. I want to keep my capacitor battery on the ship that I'm going to be closest to, which should hopefully be the one that I'm orbiting. Excellent. And yeah, so I'm hoping to get this guy, like I said, up to 600-ish DPS with still a pretty strong tank on it. Let's activate all of these because we have the ability to. And it's not going to have a high alpha strike damage. But with everything active, like it is now, these guns have a 3.17 second fire rate. It's not bad. Just over every 3 seconds it's firing. Okay. So I left the large shield booster running there for a little bit after the capacitor battery, and it still didn't put us down very far. So with the capacitor control circuit, see if I can get 3s in there, it would be way more cap stable. But it's still not utterly horrible. If you aren't paying the closest of attentions, you'll be okay still. Okay. Now we're coming in on the last target here. Alright, we're within range. Yes, it does look like by changing that to the 13, we are now staying at 14 km. So we are doing our full 100% damage. My drone is not doing anything though. Okay, we are going to just pick a direction and go away. Oh, we actually started a pretty good distance away from them. That's pretty good. Lock up these smaller ships. Who is the closest? Yes, you? Yeah, so let's turn around and let's fight. Let's get into an orbit. Let's lock him down with our web. Perfect. Focus on you next. You want to web me back, that's fine. Even while being webbed by these guys, I'm still moving at 1,000. Their web isn't very strong. Okay. Now we're moving more into a straight line, approaching. Let's go into an orbit. Let's start firing down these guys. So we're in pretty close range, so yeah, I was about to say, all of the smaller missiles should be able to hit us here as well. Okay. Go into an orbit around the Blackbird next. I want to take him out because he has that newt. Even though it does look like our capacitor has been holding strong at the 70 to 75 range this entire time. Remember guys, this is the ship without all of its skills trained up to where it should be. I do have quite a few medium laser skills, but not the ones that affect this ship the most, as well as I'm missing the speed that it has from Cruiser Command, Advanced Cruiser Command. So this ship still has a lot more that it can do. It's going to be doing way more damage. Well, I say way more. It's going to be doing more damage. Probably about 25 to 30% more with just the short amount of skills within the 9 days or so that I have. And it can get a bit higher than that if I do max out those skills. Okay. As well as it has a really beefy defense. All in all, if you're flying lasers, this is a very nice ship. Can I web you from this range? No, I have to get to 13.6. That's fine. Okay. So we are taking a bit of damage in here. Again, because of the torpedoes or rapid fires that are being used on us. But that's okay. This ship can take it. But yeah, these Phantasms, they're scary little ships. Definitely very nice to get into. And by using the large shield booster, that's just really cool. That saves you having to... It's one of the things I would actually like to put on it usually when I'm doing anything tanky, is to have the ones that the rig that lets you heal for more. So the I think it's like the armor pump, the armor ones. So it's really neat that you can fit the large on here, because that kind of alleviates the thing that I like to boost more. Boost for more repair with every cycle. Alright, the Naga is almost down. We're getting into hole right now. And yeah, it does look like changing the orbit to 13 is good. That actually makes me think as well, I might want to get rid of one of the capacitor control circuits. Or is it capacitor control circuit that I have on there? Yeah, semiconductor memory cell. I might want to actually get rid of one of those for the inertia modifier one, because once the ship starts going faster, it's going to be harder and harder for it to keep those orbits. That's also something that I'm looking at and concerned about, because I definitely want to be able to keep my orbit doing a good majority of my speed. And from my alt account that I have the Dramiel on, I've learned that that inertia modifier is pretty important on ships that go fast. So that might be one of those things that I actually look at once I start getting more of the engineering skills. If this ship becomes a little bit more stable, throwing that in there instead of one of those semiconductors. Just to be able to keep those tight orbits that I want to stay in. Let's see, if we approach you... Okay, now we go into the orbit. Gonna try to go back out again. Alright, so that worked out pretty well. Now this ship did not clear this as fast as some of my other ships that I have, but it is still extremely fun to use, and I can't wait to actually try it out in some of the more harder stuff. I do definitely want to get my skills done first though in this. But thank you for watching with me and spending time with me as I try out the Phantasm. I really do appreciate that, and I hope you enjoy the ship. So if you're actually thinking about picking one of these guys up, so far everything in here seems pretty cool. I have to say I do like it a lot, and I like where it can go, and if you've already got all of the skills trained up for it, this seems like a very logical way to go. I mean, it looks like once I'm finished with this, it's gonna have, like I said, over 600 damage, and it'll be very tanky as well. With the ability to speed tank also, I just can't see anything that's wrong with all of that. Alright? Well, please go ahead and leave me a comment in the comments and let me know what you think, and what your suggestions are for my Phantasm, and what you think about the Phantasm. Again, like the video if you enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel, and you'll be notified of more if you hit that bell. Have a great day.